I'm wearing a heart shirt today and I'm really excited. Love Doctor. Yes. My mic won't stay today. I am feeling like a brand new person. I've been calling myself the Love Doctor all day. It's a new beginning. It was a very strong shift in love. If you are feeling in love, I want you to embrace it. And in the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about sexuality and liberation. And so I wanted to make a video. Spirit led me to this lovely shirt and also a watch strap that had sparkly hearts on it. So it's like, okay. So today we're diving into how spiritual awakening and sexuality are deeply connected and why sexual liberation isn't just personal, it's a radical act of freedom and activism. I'm also going to be reading from my notes every once in a while because that is just my capacity, and I'm not the type of person to memorize everything perfectly. I'm a very transparent person. If it sounds better on here, then I'm going to go with that. Okay, get used to it. So by the end of this video, you'll understand why reclaiming your body, your pleasure is vital for waking up and standing up, okay? Because you know this page is also about activism. So I'm going to talk to you about why it's really important. And the reason why I wanted to also make this video is because I had someone in one of my classes who, and I've seen this happen before actually, where they were way more hesitant to, to do their sexual type healing because it is something that we are taught to shy away from, especially if you've had any sort of church hurt. So the first thing I want to go into is the spiritual awakening. For anybody who does not know that, I'm just going to briefly touch on it because not everybody knows exactly what an awakening is, and I feel like it's all over the internet, but people don't actually know what's going on. So it is literally a shift from living on autopilot to living with more intention, with a deeper sense of presence, to be able to help you connect with your purpose and your inner connection, especially with your guides and your ancestors, land spirits, plant allies, any of the energy, the unseen, or as folks like to say, and I like to say, behind the veil, right? Like what's behind the veil. And when you awaken spiritually, you start to question old systems, and that includes even social systems of oppression, right? And how your sexuality is naturally suppressed. So at some point on your spiritual awakening journey, you will cross this path. And depending on where you're at on your love journey and connecting with your twin or your soulmate or soulmates, or your soul tribe, like whatever you are wanting to manifest in this lifetime, you will also experience that type of awakening. And it usually happens for mostly everybody unless you run away from it, because everything is energy and energy is everything, and sexuality and your lower chakras are just as important. And so they begin to clear at some point. And so you will have a flow of energy that also goes there as well. And, you know, during your spiritual awakening, it will naturally bring attention to your body, your energy, your trauma centers, like pleasure in general, because in order to bring in your manifestations, you also need to be in a heightened state of pleasure, which also means having very clear flow of energy, right? Because you have to understand how your physical body interacts with energy around you, interacts with energy inside of you, interacts with energy from the universe. So you can begin to become one with the universe, and you can experience that heightened state of bliss, right? This is really tapping into your life force, which is your sexual energy, which is where a lot of your power comes from your creativity. It's extremely, extremely sacred. So for many people, healing their relationship with their sexuality is the core part of healing their relationship with themselves and with the divine. Let that sit in. Let that sit in for a minute. And you know, like a personal story for myself, and if you're new to this page, you may not know, or if you've been on this page before, I'm still going to share it anyways. I am someone who is an activist for femme reproductive rights, and I also have a workshop called My Body, My Choice, which is about teaching people, mostly femmes, about femme reclamation and owning their sexuality, healing their menstrual cycle, or if they want to conceive, that is also something that you can learn to do, and being able to hold that space for your body. And I had experienced a lot of bodily trauma from friends, from family members, from folks that I didn't know from a very young age. And that disconnect made it very, very hard for me to be able to receive love in general. It made my body shut down. It made me really, really sick. It made it hard for me to be within a marriage, because I was also manifesting things into my life with a very skewed view of what safety looked like, because when I was told I was safe, I was also being violated at the same time. And so I didn't have a compass for what was actually healthy, what was safe to go towards, what protection looked like in the sense of physical protection, like having someone in my life that could physically protect me. And that, you know, your sacral and your root chakras are also where your money is held. And as someone who is feminine, the divine feminine is also about creation and birth and connection to the universe, to Pachamama. So if those energies are blocked, that divinity within you is blocked, that creation energy is gone. Not saying that you have to carry or that you have to have children. It's the energy of the universe. It's the energy of life itself. And I had to go on a very deep journey of healing those parts of me and allowing my physical body to feel safe enough to receive physical touch. That's why in More Than Worthy, I always work with my clients, which is my one-on-one program. I always work with my clients through healing their own body trauma, because I do have many femmes come in who have experienced some sort of sexual abuse. And so learning how to touch their own skin safely and receive love from themselves is the beginning of the journey. And then being able to hold the capacity to share love with someone else is another journey. And then being able to receive intimacy, being able to receive your manifestations is a whole different one. So it takes time, but it is important for your connection to who you are and your wholeness. What I also want to mention is that, like, because you are spiritually awakening, it is important to realize that sexuality is completely, it's normal. It's fully normal. What you are feeling, it might feel intense in the beginning, right? Because I know for a lot of people on this page, which tends to happen during your spiritual journey, you will have a long period of celibacy where you are not sharing an intimacy with anybody. And you are building that sacredness within yourself. And so something we talked about on the call was redirecting your sexual energy up through your body and out through your third eye towards your manifestations, which will alleviate some of that pressure or frustration that you might be feeling during your spiritual awakening, during your lower chakras being cleared, during your kundalini rising. Like, all of that can help you when you learn to master how to move energy from one area to another to help your manifestations. It's also why you see a lot of people, spiritual teachers like myself and others, and like males too will do this, or masculines will do this. They will also go through long periods of celibacy so that they can stay focused, they can use that energy towards something else. And it takes a lot of discipline. So know that during this time in your spiritual awakening, if you are experiencing that, it is completely normal. It is something that we are taught to shame because within the system of oppression, if they are able to control the way we see sexuality, they are able to control us, right? So when you think about colonialism and the patriarchy, right? Like, doesn't necessarily mean all masculines, right? It's just the idea of patriarchy and the system of it, when it is extremely toxic, it does like to overly try and control people for power. And so when you are learning to liberate yourself, no matter if you're a masculine or a feminine, it will feel uncomfortable in the beginning. It will feel taboo because it's meant to, because you have been taught that you're not supposed to talk about it. You have been taught to not feel freedom. You have been taught to not liberate yourself. But when we reclaim our bodies and our own sexual truth, we end up resisting the system. So it's the one thing that you actually need to be doing instead of pushing it away. We end up declaring, I am free and I am sovereign, right? Like I am free from your views around body shaming, from who I'm supposed to be with, who I'm supposed to sleep with, what I'm supposed to look like, if I'm supposed to have a baby, like all of these things. You can't tell me that I can't feel sexual. You can't tell me that I can't alchemize through sexuality. You can't tell me like all these things, right? You are refusing a system that it has tried to keep you oppressed for a really long time. So it's really important that you actually accept your sexual healing journey, your sexuality, to be able to move on in your life and have a deeper connection with the universe. And sexual liberation is a type of activism. I think a lot of people tend to think that activism is just about politics. I know anytime I tell someone that I'm an activist, they're like, oh, well, did you see what the, and I'm like, do you know there's more than one type of activism? You're clearly not an activist or know anything about activism, because there's thousands of us out here and we all do something different. But your liberation empowers you, and it also empowers others. And healing your personal wounds end up rippling through the collective healing. So this is really, really, really important. You know, it's easy to be on the internet and see people saying, oh, the masculine is so toxic, oh, the feminine is lazy, like all these things. That doesn't help. That is imbalanced sexual energy and trauma at its best. So I highly invite you that if you are feeling uncomfortable or not sure what to do about your feelings, this energy, like what is this? Why am I getting all these visions? Come to Z School for the Gifted. It's Monday, Thursday, Friday. I just put up a poll in the community tab to shift some times around. I'm going to bring in evening times, because I know these times were also from winter and from when folks had more time. So I want to make sure that I can get to more of you, since I know a lot of you have questions. This is perfectly fine to talk about in that class. I know it's like Claire development, but it's also spiritual development. So anything about spirituality, you're welcome to come. Consider it like your therapy, but also spirituality and way more accessible, right? Consider it universal healthcare. Except I'm not the one paying for it. You are, but whatever. That is a safe space for you to ask these questions, because it's completely normal. I'm not uncomfortable with anything. I literally talk to people about their trauma all the time. I talk to people about their menstrual cycle, their blood, about conceiving, honoring their blood, like how to work together, bring sensuality into your relationship. I've had sexual coaches, like anything that you are needing, I'm happy to help you. And you know, if you go and listen to one of the old podcasts that I have on my page, and one of my clients actually did an interview, I can't remember if we talked about it on that podcast, but they talk about their journey in More Than Worthy. I'm going to be making a new one soon. And one of the things that they loved, they're like, my sex life is better than ever. And I'm like, yes, that's what happens when we liberate ourselves within our sexuality, and we liberate ourselves fully in life. You can receive pleasure, right? When you are in the frequency of pleasure and love, you can also receive your manifestations. So just to summarize, awakening calls us to heal all parts of ourselves, including the parts of society, including the parts that society has taught us to fear. So that is what spiritual awakening is really about. And even if you think about yoga, right? Yoga is also a form of activism. Yoga is about peace. Many activists do yoga because it is also a lifestyle. It's very anti-war, all of these things. So don't just think about things as, oh, I'm just meditating and all this. No, it is also a form of activism. That's why I say I am a spiritual activist. I do spiritual activism as well, but I do many, many types. So let me know if this resonated with you in the comments. I want you to share your journey. Feel comfortable sharing. This is a space for all of you to exist. And I want to make sure that we can all support each other as we go through this rising and share more frequencies of love and just connect with our inner selves. and feel more free in our day-to-day lives. And today, I'm calling myself the love doctor since I'm wearing all this stuff. And I'm just feeling that frequency lately. And I want to make sure that you feel comfortable so you can be in healthy relationships for yourself. And if you are wanting some giggles in your life and also some generational healing, there's two options. I talk about some love relationships, my divorce, healing through it, body trauma, in my book, The Empowered Femme Initiation, which is on Audible, and it's also on many online stores, including Barnes & Noble. So you can always order that book or listen to it. And the other one is my blog, which will soon be on my website. Right now it's on Substack and it'll be on both. It's called Adventures of a Single Chuggy-Lineal, and it's just something fun that I write and talk about my dating life, but I also break things down. And I'm going to have a new one coming today that is talking about healing father wounds and when things get reflected back to you, and how the universe actually helps you heal through going on these dates as you're getting closer to your twin. So I'm going to be pumping more articles out like that in my blog. And if you have any relationship questions, like, feel free to ask them below. And I also do restoration coaching as well. So if you are in a relationship that is feeling quite difficult, I'm happy to hold space for you both, and separately to coach you through that season of what might feel impossible, but you will get through it. And that is it, my friends. I also want to say, reminder, don't forget to vote for my song. We have a little over a day to get to number one. If we can make it through number one, you have no idea. This has already been a dream. We've been going for weeks, and this is like the home stretch. All of you have been putting in the work, and I love you all so much for also helping me get this opportunity. And I'm going to take all of my activism and blabber it all over that stage, because the music industry knows it. If any of you know me, you know I am there for the good fight, and I will be there until the very end. And the music industry, the entertainment industry needs a lot of help, and people in this world need help. And so the more we make ourselves visible, the more we can create the change that we are wanting to see in the world. So please support me. The link is also below. So again, Z School for the Gifted articles, you got the book, you got my, Audible, restoration coaching, whatever you are needing. But remember, liberate yourself and heal within your spiritual practice and in your sexuality, because it's so important. And that is it, my friends. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.